Hey guys, so I decided to take my life in a brand new direction and fully embrace this thing called minimalism. You guys ever heard of it? It's like you own less things and it just makes you happier. I just got so inspired by it that I decided to get rid of everything. So here, let me give you a tour of my minimalist apartment. As you can see, let me focus it up there. As you can see, there's literally nothing in here. I was not joking when I said I got rid of literally everything, yeah, basically except the furniture that my landlord owns. The only thing that I own is this book right here. It's called Minimalism. It's by the Minimalists. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but it changed my life. Definitely check it out. So, like, I know that we live in a consumer world where it's just so easy to get wrapped up in just owning more things and how ridiculously hard it can be to just let go of those things. But guys, I cannot tell you how good it felt just to get everything out into the middle of the road and light it on fire. For about a year now, I've really tried to embrace minimalism. I've gone through 2 major cleanouts where I just got rid of a bunch of stuff and tried to organize the things that I do have. I've seen lots of positive benefits in my life after doing those things, and right now I'm in the process of moving out of my apartment actually. I figured this would provide a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to really push myself with minimalism and living with less things. Throughout the month of June, I had 3 waves of moving stuff out. During these waves, I packed up certain things in my apartment to drive them to my family in Buffalo, where I will be temporarily storing them. You hear that, Mom? Temporarily. Each wave contained things that I deemed less and less useful or meaningful in my life. Of course, there were a number of exceptions to this, just based on the logistics of moving. But, for the most part, doing this allowed me to see how I could push my boundaries in terms of what I could live without, which things I would actually feel like I was missing, and just exactly how it would affect my happiness, comfort, and mental clarity. Today is May 30th, and this is the first day that I'm really going to be starting to move out. I'm going to start with just a bunch of little things that I have lying around here that really aren't useful, really aren't like things that I use in my day-to-day life. For this first round, I focused on moving out lots of little things, mostly stuff that's hidden in drawers, cupboards, and not in my line of sight. Nice. Nice. This ended up being lots of technology, old movies, and video games, and decorations. After I got them out, the days that followed honestly didn't feel too different. Of course, I didn't notice that the stuff hidden away was missing, but I really didn't even notice the stuff previously in my line of sight either. It reminded me of how quick I actually am to adapt to new surroundings. The second round was different though. I committed to moving out a lot more than last time. Some of these items came with a much more noticeable change in scenery, such as taking out my piano, which I barely play, and removing everything from my entertainment center except, well, the few things I actually use. I'll admit, as much of a video nerd as I am, it was kind of an interesting change to see my entertainment center so clean. It was a little jarring at first to see it so empty, but once I got used to it, it was weirdly kind of grounding. The same feeling applied to everywhere I removed stuff from: my closet, under my bed, my desk, and lots of other surfaces. I'm happy to say that I got exactly what I'd hoped for out of this experiment. Feelings of clarity, control, peace, a reminder of my passions, all things that minimalist practices have given me before, just this time cranked up to 11. This wasn't just in me going about my daily life once the stuff was moved out. I felt these feelings even as I was packing things into boxes. So what are my thoughts on this stuff for the future? That's honestly been the most difficult part of all of this. Knowing once I get a new place, deciding which things to move back into my life will not be as easy as just temporarily moving them out. Going through all these things just made me very aware of the potentially difficult choices that I have yet to make now that I've seen the emotional benefits of living with less. That being said though, this experience helped me plan ahead for the more intentional usage of some of these things. I think one day my dream is just gonna be like to have all of these consoles set up and just like ready to go. When I really have the space and the time to settle into it, I think that's really what I want to see out of these things. And also, something stupidly obvious to keep in mind is my apartment is pretty small right now. I think ultimately what I want is just a larger place that allows me to space out the things that I own. I want to strike a good balance of keeping the meaningful things to me, but not crowding them into small spaces like I've had to do while living here. All of these thoughts are incredibly important for me to think forward about, especially in these final few days of June when I'm packing up literally everything else, mostly things that I can't live without. Obviously, this third wave of moving things out will be my last. Now, I'm not moving directly into a new place, more on that later, but once I do, this experience will help me understand what I need in my life from more of a ground-up level. I want moving in to feel almost a reverse of this month, starting with the essentials, then bring other meaningful things into my life as needed, and see what I can truly live without, and then maybe actually part ways with it. This month wasn't as much about deciding what to keep and what not to, but more exploring and challenging myself in my relationship with minimalism. I think the biggest things I learned were, first, how adaptable I was to new surroundings, as well as that I want those feelings of clarity, control, and peace even more than my things. I'm gonna wrap it up here for now because I gotta get back to packing my things. Thank you so much for watching.